Welcome to everyone who's joined us this morning, and especially here in this cathedral, the Mother Church of Catholic life here in Tasmania. Welcome to parishioners and visitors alike. We gather at the beginning of another year, conscious that time moves quickly. History presses upon us, and God continues to call. Tomorrow our nation will mark Australia Day, and I'll speak more directly about that tomorrow at 9 o'clock Mass here in the Cathedral. But even before we arrive at the day itself, it already hangs in the air, in conversations, in preparations, in the newspaper this morning, in the mixed emotions of many people that many people carry in their hearts. Australia Day is not a simple day. It never has been, and perhaps that is precisely why it matters. The land carries beauty and burden, promise and pain, gratitude and grief all at once. The story of Australia begins with ancient custodianship stretching back tens of thousands of years, and then it turns sharply with the arrival of the first fleet, a penal colony, a place of exile and control, but also for some a place of survival, reinvention and hope. From the beginning, Australia has been a place shaped by toil and trial, fire, flood, drought, isolation. These are not interruptions to our story, they are woven into it. And yet too, so are resilience, solidarity, and that quiet virtue we call mateship, born not in comfort, but under pressure. This land has drawn people from everywhere. The goldfields and the ports and factories, the farms and fisheries, the universities and hospitals, all become and became meeting places of cultures and languages and dreams. Many who will soon celebrate Lunar New Year trace their family story back to the long journey that has brought them here. Others have arrived more recently, carrying wounds from war, persecution, and displacement. Like any family, and Australia is a family, we have not always welcomed one another well. There have been seasons of fear, moments of exclusion, policies and attitudes that, when future generations read them, will make us uncomfortable. That too is part of our truth. And it is into precisely that kind of human reality that today's readings speak. In the second reading, St. Paul writes to the community in Corinth, a busy port city, multicultural, prosperous, and yet divided. He does not pretend that the divisions are imaginary. He names them. He confronts them. And then he appeals not to ideology or power, but to belonging. He says, make up the differences between you. Be united in your belief and practice. Paul does something remarkably modern. Long before ancestry websites or DNA testing, he reminds them of their shared origin. Not sameness, not uniformity, but common belonging under God. The gospel takes this even further. Jesus walks along the shore, not in the temple court, not at the palace, not in the academy, but along the shoreline. And what does he do? He calls fishermen, ordinary people, workers with weathered hands and tired eyes, people who knew the tides and seasons, patience and disappointment. There's nothing especially holy about them, no aura. Probably the stench of fish clung to their clothes. And yet they were the ones he calls. A carpenter calling fishermen to leave their nets and follow him. It sounds absurd, bizarre. And yet it is the very heart of the gospel. God at work in the ordinary, calling people just as they are, where they are. That's the question quietly placed before us today. Not tomorrow, not on Australia Day itself, but today, this morning. How are we, as an Australian church and as Australian Catholics, responding to the call of the carpenter of Nazareth now? In our own land, with our own history, and with our own tensions and hopes. The gospel is not preached from a distance. It is lived figuratively on the shoreline. That is, in the workplaces and families, in parishes and neighbourhoods, in the way we speak, welcome, listen, and make room for one another. Tomorrow we will mark Australia Day, but today Christ asks something deeper still. Will you come and follow me into the complexity, into the shared story, into the deep waters of hope? The call has not changed. Only the names of those being called have. The call has not changed. Only the names of those being called have. The originals were Peter and Andrew and John and James. The names are now changed to mine and yours. Today, quietly and insistently, he is calling you.